Today we explore what the Great Reset really means for you by looking at a recent World Economic Forum white paper as well as other WEF insights. So let's dive on in. Now, this channel provides global macro insights and champions the importance of sound money in a world gone crazy. So please do consider subscribing. So the Great Reset is an incredibly well-funded, enormously ambitious, internationally coordinated project led by some of the world's largest multinational corporations and financial elite, and is being implemented by state bodies and supporting NGOs right now. Now, it's ultimately needed due to the natural conclusion of the paper Ponzi scheme, which has seen debt levels soar globally since the gold peg broke in 1971. The diminishing ability of additional debt to actually facilitate any growth has meant that the system was creaking at its seams, as was evident by the fact that there was just a complete inability to normalise interest rates. And when they tried to do so, it gave rise to the repocalypse event in the autumn of 2019. So they were then forced to return to their old ways of quantitative easing. And so the super wealthy want to stay that way and cement their position at the head of the table. Now, with the current system collapsing, a system which they designed, they need to offer a new solution which offers them a surgically precise means of managing and controlling resources that they see as entirely limited. Ultimately, these cowards fear losing control. But us peasants must be convinced that it is in our best interest to give away our privacy and freedoms, and doing so is a social good which reflects genuine technological and societal progress. Those resistant to this public good will face morality pills to nudge or force our behaviour, or even outright coercion. And so the cowardly Klaus and his gang are the world's top capitalists, communist, billionaires and members of secular and religious royalty from nations across the world have a common goal towards which they are striving. And that is a world of technologically efficient feudalism, where technology offers an all-seeing eye to digitally track and tag every resource on our beautiful planet. These resources include every person as an effective serf to the elite, capital in terms of machinery, money and consumer goods which will be available for rent. Meanwhile, entrepreneurship will seemingly allow the creation and existence of digital services, but other firms may falter as the Great Reset gathers momentum. Now, this great article with the link in the description suggests that this program is really based upon two key assumptions which I do really agree with. One, every element of nature and every life form is part of a global inventory which can be managed by elite cronyism, be it the state or multinational corporations. And secondly, that all resources are managed and controlled by the state or said corporations who will hold every resource accountable in a system of QR codes, tracking IDs, which will be fed into a massive artificial intelligence database. Now, this will be complemented by the introduction of central bank digital currencies, which can be used to motivate or punish behaviours in a similar way to the social credit system in China. This will accelerate us towards a system of transhumanism, which sees our biological bodies as defective robots, which can be enhanced by merging us with machines, which will simply upload data to our Big Brother AI system. And I know that you're thinking that this is absolute madness and it's just inconceivable. But of course, Klaus Schwab has told us that the fourth industrial revolution, which is effectively the Great Reset, will lead to the fusion of our physical, digital and biological identity. Here he is now.
It's at the end what the fourth industrial revolution will lead to is a fusion of our physical, our digital and our biological identities.
Meanwhile, banking expert Professor Richard Werner has warned us of the desire for the Bank of England to actually use RFID chips for payment, which would be placed in our hands. And then Ida Auken, who is a member of the World Economic Forum's Global Future Council on the Future of Cities and Urbanisation, told us in this infamous article, "Welcome to 2030, I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better." Where she states that I know that somewhere everything I do, think and dream of is recorded. I just hope that nobody will use it against me. And of course, just this year we saw Elon Musk unveil Neuralink in a pig, and this pig, Gertrude, has a coin-sized computer chip in her brain to demonstrate his ambitious plans to create a working brain-to-machine interface.
All right, here we go. Great. Okay, great. Okay. The beeps you're hearing are real-time signals from the Neuralink in Gertrude's head. So this Neuralink connects to neurons that are in her snout. So whenever she snuffles around and touches something with her snout, that sends out neural spikes, which are detected here. We have a healthy and happy pig, initially shy but obviously high energy and kind of loving life. And she's had the implant for 2 months. So this is a healthy and happy pig with an implant that is 2 months old and working well. Yeah.
Musk goes on to state that it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires. It actually fits quite nicely in your skull. It could be under your hair and you wouldn't know. But for the elite, this provides the ultimate means of forestalling any potential uprising. Complete control of dissent before it even takes place, and such systems are some way off, but we can clearly see the intended destination. And so the recent WEF white paper outlines the following 5 key components for redesigning our workplace. 1, to transform organisation design and work design. This is ultimately an acceleration of digitised work, leading to 84% of all work processes as digital, while 83% of people are planned to work remotely. This will limit social interaction and seem to separate humanity from human contact. Number 2, to align new technology and skills to accelerate upskilling and reskilling, which will ultimately see vast swathes of people leave the workplace for good, as it suggests around 50% of all tasks will be automated. This seems to include farms with driverless vehicles and drones managing crops and their pesticide application. And so around 35% of skills will no longer be needed in this dystopian next normal. 3rd, to cultivate health and well-being. Now this sounds very noble, but really this is about supporting people within a new permanent next normal environment of home and distance working. While the notion of total well-being is discussed and the prospect of a universal basic income is touted, which helps to fuel dependency and docility. 4th, building human-centric leadership cultures. The document states that leaders will need to redefine, explore and iterate new ways to manage the business teams and morale by actively developing empathy, trust and collaboration. Suggestions include weekly meetings which actually offer direct human interaction. 5th, embrace stakeholder capitalism. Now this is one of Klaus's favourite terms. Essentially, when you read between the lines, this ultimately appears to be about making people redundant in good style and with an eye upon the brand's image. For instance, the document cites how McDonald's reassigned some workers to Aldi supermarkets during the lockdown, and also goes on to look at how Airbnb laid staff off and provided them with a free laptop and a year's health insurance as a parting gift. And so what this document truly represents is an outline proposal of one of the means by which the Great Reset will be implemented. Ida Alkan has already told us a world of no privacy, a fusion between digital and human existence. I'm certainly going to keep a keen eye out on upcoming paper proposals here from the WEF. For the one I think we are all most curious of is how they will facilitate a world where you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. The introduction of some sort of credit scheme where debts are wiped out in exchange for personal assets seems the most likely step forward here. Now, this is where the IMF has a big role to play, and this inevitably leads us to whatever you want, you'll rent, as the WEF has told us. But right now, this would require us to face no other alternative. This would seem to need the situation to be even more dire than it currently is, and we're not there yet. Now, I've cited the original 2030 predictions video by the WEF down below, so please do share away and make sure others just know what is at stake here, because the WEF has subsequently taken that video down. Never has it been more important for us to be unconquerables, people whose hearts and minds are not influenced by mainstream media, and we can actually make our own decisions and take part in small acts of non-compliance. Thanks so much for listening. Do let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.